Hello everybody, this is Noel from the TARDIS Zone. This is the review of the Demons of Punjab. Before I get into the video, if you like this video, of course give it a like, share away. It'll also be on Twitter, Facebook and on YouTube. Myself and Cheryl will have our double review tomorrow. So, what did I think of the episode tonight? Well, I'll start off by giving a little rundown on what the episode was basically about. So, it starts off in Yaz's house, and it's her grandmother's birthday. And basically, grandmother starts telling Yaz a story about how she was the first, this, that, and the other. Um, and then Yaz goes and sees the doctor and asks the doctor if they can go back through time and see her grandmother when she was getting married. Obviously, then when they get there, stuff starts to happen. So their priest, dies, and then the doctor finds out that there's some sort of alien threat. But then it turns out that it's not really an alien threat, because what happens is the aliens' planet got destroyed, and they've turned over a new leaf. And now, basically, what their sole job was, is to go around the universe and basically be there for when people died, so they weren't alone when they died. Um, what else can I say? See, I really see this is why Cheryl's not doing the review tonight. Because she couldn't really think of anything to say after watching this episode. So yeah, so basically there was a villain, but wasn't really a villain because they turned over a new leaf. It seems to be a trend with Chris Chibnall. Now I know he didn't write this episode, but he is the showrunner, so obviously he'll have some sort of creative input. But it seems to be that there doesn't seem to be either a single threat or an overall threat in this season at all. Um, I don't even know what the end game is for this season. But so basically, what happens when they go back through time? As I said, stuff starts to happen. So their priest that's supposed to marry them gets murdered. The holy man, he gets murdered. Turns out it's the little brother, because his older brother died in the war, and basically the middle brother is left, and he doesn't agree with his middle brother's choice of wife because of religious beliefs, and because the country obviously is splitting up. It was set in 1940 or something. I don't really care, but it was the time when India was being basically sliced and diced and put into sections. Um, and obviously, then that was causing upheaval. And the aliens were there because millions of people were going to die, and that was their purpose. So, going through the episode, you think there was an alien threat, and it turned out they weren't a threat at all. It seems to be a thing with this season that, there's not really a threat. Um, I just don't. I really don't know what to say, because I mean, I look at the reaction on Twitter and I look at the reaction on Facebook, and you obviously have people that like this saying it was like the classic era, but I don't see that at all. I mean, I've plenty of classic episodes there, and I wouldn't compare this episode to a classic episode in a million years. I even had a row with someone on Twitter that said that that Jodie Whittaker was better than Peter Capaldi, anything that he did in his era, and I strongly disagree with that. I mean, if you were to go episode by episode on Jodie Whittaker and put it up against a Peter Capaldi episode, any of these episodes, it doesn't matter. You just pick one to compete against it, and to be honest, there's no comparison. Peter's Doctor and definitely his acting and some of these stories are definitely better. I know Stephen Moffat never didn't always hit the mark, and he frustrated a lot of fans, including myself. I'm his biggest hater, but I will say one thing: he would start off a story well, but the execution would be poor by the end. But it's at least he tried. It kept to the core Doctor Who. This doesn't feel like Doctor Who. This feels like a drama, and I struggle to stay awake watching this episode, and I've never done that watching a Doctor Who episode. It doesn't feel like Doctor Who. Again, some of the things that I did like in the episode was the conversations between Prim, if that's his name, or Prime, the groom, Graham, and Ryan. They had a little scene near the end of the episode that was pretty well done, I have to say. I had a bit of a lump in my throat. That was a good part. I have to say, I think Bradley Walsh is being underutilized. I think he deserves better. Um, I'm kind of wondering what he would have been like as the Doctor. I know I said last week he probably would have been the better choice as the Doctor, but I don't think he would have been a great Doctor, to be honest. He does make a good companion. He actually makes a very good companion. It's just a pity there's too many. Um, Even though this was about Yaz's family, I don't see the point in Yaz, to be quite honest. I really don't. I get the point of Ryan, and I get the point of Graham. Their dynamic, their relationship. You know, they had a person in common. You know, so like I can get why those two would probably be on the TARDIS, but I'm not getting why Yaz is on the TARDIS at all. Um, it's just it just seems to be a waste if you're I don't it seems to be like, as Cheryl had said to me, it seems to be like, you know, they have too many companions and they don't seem to be able to get them in into the same scenes, so that's why there's always kind of separate scenes, which is true. I think there is too many companions, especially in the modern era. Yes, some things do have to change a little bit, but this this direction, no. And I mean the music at the end as well. I mean, what was that like? Do you know what I mean? It's like a deliberate attempt. Look at us, we're different. You know, we're gonna do things our way, and if you don't like it, lump it. Also, I'd like to just say something before I continue this. The pro Jodie fans, right? You can stop telling people to shut up, or to get away, or don't watch the show, or if you hate it so much, you're not a fan and all this, right? I'm a fan over 30 years, okay? I've watched Doctor Who when some of you were in his daddy's sack, okay? So to say to me, don't watch again. The reason why I'm so angry and I'm so vocal about what's happening with this show is because I have been a fan that long and I really care about that show. Now, I don't care if there's people out there that do love this. I actually really don't. But you all seem to have a problem with people like me that have a problem with the new show. And that's wrong. Everybody is entitled to opinion, whether you agree with it or not. And I'm sick and tired of myself personally getting abused by people who don't agree with my opinion. It's just an opinion. It's not meant to offend anybody, but it seems to offend people. Like all pro Jodie fans, if anybody says anything negative about the show, he has had something to say. And it's always nasty. It's never anything nice. You know. And you resort to name calling. You resort going into people's profiles, taking photographs out of their accounts, and then making sick pictures and posting them all over the internet. Of course, that is cyberbullying, and the EU has passed laws to that effect. So anybody that is involved in abusing anybody online, I would strongly advise you to check the anti-cyberbullying laws, because there actually is anti-cyberbullying laws and you are actually breaking the law. So I've said my little piece on that. Again, it's just my opinion on the episode and the season in general. If you don't agree with it, that's fine, but don't get nasty. Get nasty, I'll come after you. It's simple as that. But getting back to the show, so the resolution basically was the brother ends up dying. We don't actually see him being killed. Well, we hear the gun go off, so we assume that he died. Um, but he obviously did die. But it's just the way it's written now. They're afraid. They seem to be afraid to show death in this season. Um, Jodie Whittaker herself in this episode. How would I rate her performance out of 10? I would give it a 0. To be quite honest. Again, she was poor. I'm sorry, she doesn't need to stick her hand out every time she uses her sonic screwdriver. Her facial expressions are just awful as well. She just keeps doing these facial expressions. And when she's talking, she's kind of doing all this. And when she runs, it's quite funny. It reminded me of Home Alone, the part where Kevin McAllister runs up to the mirror and he goes like this. Well, that's how she runs. It's not good. I'm sorry. And I've also noticed in this new series, you don't really see Jodie piloting the TARDIS at all. You do see her pulling the levers and stuff, and you see it dematerializing and then rematerializing on a planet, but you never actually see her pilot the TARDIS. It seems to be a thing. Maybe she can't because she needs to run around do the controls, and maybe she can't do that. But I don't know. Again, I really don't see the point in Yaz. She doesn't need to be in the show, to be quite honest. I know this was about her family, but I mean, how much character development did she really get? She had a little conversation with the doctor, and she had a conversation where she was saying that she wasn't happy with her grandmother because she thought her grandmother was telling lies and all this, and she wanted to stop the wedding from happening. And the gas thing is the doctor said that she couldn't get involved, but then the doctor ends up getting involved because the doctor ends up marrying them after telling Yaz not to get involved because it's a fixed point she finds out it's a fixed point in time. And then she goes and talks to the little brother of your man that's getting married, and basically it looks like she's trying to stop him, trying to convince him to stop. So she's interfering with time. But obviously then things happen in the background. He runs out, and then there's a bunch of lads there with horses. They have guns, so the older brother tries to talk sense into the younger brother. The younger brother basically says, "Get away from me, F you." And then we hear the gun as the doctor, Yaz, and Graham and Ryan are walking away. But again, we were led to believe there was a villain, and then it turned out it wasn't a villain. Their story basically is that they used to be assassins, but then apparently their planet was destroyed, and they turned over a new leaf. Again, lame writing. Again, I'd say, where was the sci-fi? I mean, there was a little bit of sciencey part where she got water and spit, or cow's dung, or chicken poo, or whatever it was. I don't really care, to be honest. See, this is the thing about this. Because they're single story episodes, and which it seems to be that way. We've only had one cliffhanger, haven't we? That was from season 1, episode 1 into episode 2. But there doesn't seem to be, we're not getting attached to any characters. The only 2 characters that I'm attached to in Doctor Who now that I care about and happens to them at the moment is Ryan and Graham. The rest of them I don't care. Even if the doctor was to die, I wouldn't care, to be quite honest. I would have no emotion. This is what is wrong with Doctor Who. When I watch it, there is no emotion watching it. It's not getting me excited. The only emotion that I'm feeling when I watch it is sadness and anger when I see what they're doing with the show. They're deliberately trying to be different. I mean, the end music again. I mean, Chibnall again is trying to say and trying to prove, look, my season is going to be completely different to anything that came before. Now, I am all for change, but when you change that big, you change the lead role, and then you go and you give us this dire writing. It's boring, uninspiring. I mean, the doctor talked about love, and I mean, when the doctor usually gives a speech, I'm enthralled, I'm invested in it, I'm getting emotional. But anything that comes out of Jodie Whittaker's mouth, and her facial expressions are just annoying me. And again, the whole thing with the screwdriver, 4 times in one scene, she keep, what's this, man? and as I said, the way she runs. But getting away from that, the writing is complete. And I know Chris Chibnall didn't write this, but I mean, this was bad. This 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 was really bad. I mean, this can't get any worse. Well, I say that, but I said that last week, but it has. I will not be surprised if there's another slide in the ratings. Of course, pro Jodie fans will deny that and say that this is the most successful series of the last few years. I would strongly disagree with that. Um, I mean, if you start off with 10.1 million viewers for the very first episode, and you drop down to 6, now I know there is a drop off, and fans will argue there's always a drop off, and you're right, there is always a drop off, but not this fast. This is fast, and you can deny it all you want, and you can twist everything, and there's facts out there, newspapers and all are starting to jump on it, show you that the numbers are down, and you are trying everything, and you are saying everything to say that this is successful. This is a successful season. It's definitely not better than season 4. It's definitely not better than season 5 or 6. Peter Capaldi's seasons get a lot of stick, but our individual episodes within season 8, 9 and 10 clearly blow this series out of the water. I don't care what anybody says. Even Heaven Sent alone would be every single episode in this series. This series is a shambles. We have a showrunner who's incapable of writing sci-fi. We have a lead actress who unfortunately is out of her depth. She should never have got the job in the first place, but that's what you do when you have a pal that's the head writer. We have a head writer who clearly, a showrunner, who clearly has daddy issues and some sort of man issues, even though he's a man himself, because you look at the way men are written in that show, it's not great. Of course, you will have the NPCs saying different as usual. But I'll go into more detail when I do the review with Cheryl. This is just my overall thought of what, my overall thoughts. I just had to get something out. I wasn't even going to do this tonight, but after a little think, and then I decided to do it. But I really, 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 really did not like this episode. And it's sad because I wanted this show, trust me, right? I wanted this show to be a success, right? I wasn't in favor of the gender swap, and I'm not going to change my mind on that. I wasn't a fan of the gender swap, but when it happened, I argued, and I still said that this wasn't the right decision. But then a couple of weeks before the show started, I was having a chat with a few other people, and then I decided, look, to give her a chance. Now, that's another thing I keep hearing from pro Jodie fans. Well, give her a chance, you've got to give her a chance. Do you know what I mean? We're 6 episodes in now. I mean, how many times I've even seen from some pro Jodie fans, they've actually said, yeah, the show's gone to a PC and it's starting to get boring. I mean, how boring does it have to get? How PC does it have to get before you all open your eyes? Because they're killing the show. And at the end of the day, right, I really don't want Doctor Who to be cancelled. I really don't. I actually was hoping that she'd probably change my mind and change everybody else's mind, and the writing would blow us out of the water. But it hasn't. It hasn't. It's been a failure. So, where do we go from here? So there's a couple of options BBC have. So BBC can wait until all episodes have aired, and then wait until, wait a few months, see what the final figures are, and then make a decision. Because to be honest with you, I think a decision does have to be made. If it was me, and of course most of you will know what I'm going to say, if it was me, I would sack Chris Chibnall, and I would actually get rid of Jodie Whittaker. I don't see that happening. The scenario that I see is that we're going to get another 2 seasons of this. It's going to be dragged through the mud even further. It's going to get even more political. It's going to get even more dire. And then they're just going to end it. I reckon they're trying to cancel Doctor Who, to be honest. It's an expensive show, remember, also. It's an expensive show to actually make. So, people might think that this is ridiculous, but BBC, it's not the first time Doctor Who was killed, trust me. And it certainly won't be the last time. I definitely think they're doing something. I mean, there was a fan theory out there. What if Chris Chibnall is actually really a genius and he cast a female doctor knowing that there would be a backlash, because there is a backlash, and the pro Jodie supporters can say all they want that there isn't. There is, and there always has been, and there always will be, as long as Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker are part of Doctor Who. But the fan theory is basically, what if Chris Chibnall cast a woman because he knew there was such a backlash, and then he was gonna, like, basically after one season regenerate Jodie into a male, so then the Doctor would get record viewing numbers. I don't think he's that clever, to be quite honest, because you look at what he's written for Doctor Who in the past and you see what's currently being written. He's not that clever. To be quite honest now, I never thought I would say this, but if Stephen Moffat showed an interest in coming back to Doctor Who, I would be okay with that, providing he knew what the fans wanted him to do this time, because he can be clever. Individual episodes, he is. He's one of the best writers out there. He really is. He was just a shit showrunner. That's all that was. But I don't know who else could take this show forward now, to be quite honest, other than him. If anybody else in the comments have any ideas who you think should take over the show, and who else you think would actually make a good Doctor to replace Jodie Whittaker, male or female. I know some of you are against the gender swap, like myself, but as I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So if there is a female actress, an actress out there, female actress, Jeremy, if there is an actress out there, apparently we're not allowed to say that anymore though, but I'm going to be old fashioned and I'm going to stick to actor and actress. So yeah, if you want any of you to be the Doctor, list your choices below. But this episode, no, I just don't know what to say anymore. I mean, I could sit here all night and just go on about this and keep going, and because I've got so much more that I could say, but everybody kind of knows how I feel now, and of course some people agree with me and others don't agree with me. Again, as I said, that's your right, but it's just, but to actually hear people say that this is one of the best episodes. I mean, every week we have someone saying that this is one of the best episodes. I mean, the way people are going, this is the greatest season or the greatest series that's ever been in Doctor Who, because that's the way some people are going. Now, the NTAs, I think, are soon, aren't they? I wouldn't be surprised, trust me, I wouldn't be surprised if Jodie Whittaker, even though, the whole series hasn't finished. I think the NTAs, are they this month? Or I could be wrong, they could be in January, but it'll be just after the season has ended anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if this show wins a shitload of awards and Jodie Whittaker wins Best Actress and Bradley Walsh wins Best Supporting. He'll be the only one that will actually deserve an award. I don't think Jodie Whittaker deserves any awards, but I reckon she will win an NTA. This show will win an NTA, I guarantee, because that will be the BBC's propaganda machine in full force. I mean, they've already had the voting on Twitter and all. Oh, you can vote for Jodie and all this. Of course, me being me, I'd put it on all the anti-Jodie groups, and I basically said, come on, let's vote for the rivals, because she doesn't deserve an NTA. She's a very poor actress that's basically being lucky. And I know that's going to annoy some ears, and that's the only reason why I said it, because I know it's going to annoy some ears. But I just wanted to get that out there anyway, because it's what I truly believe. She's being lucky. For me, as I said, if I was going to cast a woman, even though, you know, I had strong disagreements with the gender swap, but if it was always going to happen, so because the way the world is nowadays, everything has to be politically correct, and you know, you can't have all male roles. You know, you can't have a male role, you know, because like there's something wrong with the world. You know, hates men all of a sudden. We're a target, boys. Money mess. Not, but not. We really are. Me Too movement as well. They're all out for us, you know, even innocent guys. No, but getting back to, but yeah, if there's one thing I could say about this show is that this isn't, and will never will be, universally loved. Jodie Whittaker's doctor is not universally loved. Peter Capaldi's doctor was universally loved. Again, I had some idiot on Twitter telling me that Peter wasn't a great doctor. Yeah, he was, and he was better than Jodie Whittaker, and he was probably better than most of the New Who doctors. And that's saying a lot, because Matt Smith was fantastic. David Tennant obviously was very good, and Christopher Eccleston being the first of the New Who doctors, he was very good. But I mean, come on, there's only one New Who doctor that stands out for me, and that's Peter. But yeah, this episode was dire. And basically I've no more to say, because I've said everything that I need to say for now. There will be a review with myself and Cheryl tomorrow. This was just basically me, just, you know, again, just getting everything out of my head and onto video. But I am very disappointed. But I think this show is going to be dragged through the mud for another couple of years. I hope I'm wrong. There is a rumour going around Twitter. Of course, I've been called a troll because I said this, but there was a rumour going around on Twitter, and it has been well known about it going around on Twitter. Someone basically saying that a BBC insider has informed them that Doctor Who has been cancelled. Now, obviously, we can't confirm that because BBC haven't said anything official, but I will say that this has been out on Twitter, and BBC haven't said really anything. And normally when something does go on Twitter, they strongly deny something. So they haven't come out to strongly deny that Doctor Who is being cancelled. But as we do know, the Christmas special is not happening because apparently they've ran out of ideas, which is bloody ridiculous, because that's the job they're in. They're there to create and come up with ideas. But apparently that doesn't seem to be part of a writer's job anymore, you know. Because I can guarantee you, people listening to this video, I guarantee you could all come up with a decent Christmas episode. To say that you've run out of ideas for a Christmas episode is completely ridiculous. It's just, I don't know. Again, they just didn't want Doctor Who up on a Christmas night. It's just another excuse because Christmas is very big on BBC, and that's why they didn't want to do it, because they knew she'd take a hit in the ratings, because she'd be going up against some great shows on Christmas Day, or even movies on Christmas Day. So that's why they've decided to do New Year's, because she won't New Year's Day, because she won't be up against much on New Year's Day. So again, supplied by the BBC because they really don't have any faith in this show, but they'll tell the world that they do, but they don't really. Um, so yeah, so as I said, myself and Cheryl will have a review tomorrow. This was just me kind of random thoughts and stuff and just getting things out there. But yeah, this episode, as I said, 1 out of 10. To be honest, Jodie Whittaker's acting is appalling. The supporting cast, no, not great. And the writing is just unbelievably boring. And again, people will disagree with me, and people will say that it was actually a very good episode. And again, fair enough, fair play to you. That's your opinion. I don't agree with it. This video is my opinion, and this is how I feel. So I'd like the same respect of yours because I respect your opinion. So please respect mine. So yeah, with that, I will see you tomorrow on the TARDIS Zone with myself and Cheryl for our double review. And they, I have to say, they do be a bit fun because I do love to hear Cheryl's input on the episode to see if we feel any differently, which we do on certain things, I have to say. And I will point out that, and as everybody knows in the TARDIS owners, that Cheryl was actually quite looking forward to this area. She was optimistic anyway, and she was optimistic after the first episode, especially. But then after that, then I could see it in her face, and that's what's sad when I see a fan like that, and I can see the disappointment. And that's the point, I think. When you see someone that loves the show so much lose interest and has a disappointing look on their face, that's the point. People might criticize me, but I mean, I'm really sad because the show is going down the gutter, and I know some of you don't think so, but it is, in my opinion. And the ratings are showing it, and you can deny it all you want. From 10 to 6, that's a drop, and it's going to drop again after this episode. That's a big slide, and it's a fast slide. So you can say that, well, every Doctor had a drop off, but not that fast. I'm sorry, but not that fast. And you can check the figures out all you want, not that fast. So with that, I'll say good night. God bless, and yeah, I'll talk to you all tomorrow. So yeah, I'll put this video up and enjoy. See you now.